Welcome back to Final Fantasy -1. Today we are traveling to the Time Tower. It looks like the Mirage Tower, but this is the Time Tower. Let's take a look at the world map and see where we are. Southeast part of the world, a little bit west of the Airship Desert. The first part of this dungeon is a maze floor. It's a one single tile floor. It looks a little bit like the desert cave where we found our floater, but it's not full of tiles that will warp you out to the world, except the tiles that look like this. There's one tricky tile right there that takes you up. All the rest of them do take you out to the world map. In Final Fantasy Ultra, there is a marker of a question mark made of blocks that is a hint that that is the correct one. You have to really watch carefully for that one. Anyway, now we are on the main part of the Time Tower. This is the only other floor, is this area right here. We're going to do this in reverse order that we would normally do a dungeon, and we're going to go and fight the boss very first. This boss took me a few attempts to get down, and so on my runs, I was going from the door directly to the boss so that we could take care of it and then go back and clean up the other things on the dungeon floor. So that's what we're going to do here. The boss here is named Ogopogo. As we fight these time mages, I'll talk about Ogopogo. Ogopogo is a Kraken switch. It is a physical bruiser. It does have some spells in its routine, but the spells are mostly about making it do more hits to you and making it harder to hit for you. So we'll see some of those when we fight them. I'm fighting the Time Mage battle here because this is an unrunnable encounter. We will see a battle with Time Mages and Sages a little bit later on in the Southwest Castle for the key items. So I believe that's why this is an unrunnable encounter. So the Time Mages go through a routine of Protect, Poison on everybody. And then they go to Chakra, which is a single targeting full heal, and then they start throwing comets at you. So I have my equipment laid out on my character so that I can do as many first round area of effect damage as I can. The Time Mages don't have very big hit point pools, but they become very hard to hit with physical attacks very quickly because all of them will do Protect first on their first routine if they cast a spell. So I'm getting lightning elemental things in the hands of my physical attacking characters. So the Thor hammer is going to go up to my Viking. The Coral sword is going to go back on my Paladin. And the other characters are going to mostly be running buff during this fight. We're going to be mostly casting Invis with my Ninja, and we're going to be using the Black Mage to either drink potions for characters or throw a random spell here now and then. Because I did notice Ogopogo does have access to the X-Zone spell, so I do need to work hard to try to keep everybody above 300 if we can get there. The Ogopogo does have a few other spells before that. So the Cleric here is going to cast Protect. The Ninja is going to do Invis, and then Haste 2 from the Black Mage is going to get my 2 physical attackers hasted up. The Ninja is not going to do very much with his physical attacks. He's just going to be boosting our evasion to try to not take 8 hits like that. And then when Ogopogo uses Haste 2 on himself, he's going to be having 16 attempts at hits, so we really need to dodge those. The Protect spell is going to lower the amount of damage taken per hit, so Protect does get amplified a little bit, but I'm going to go on the offensive now that he's been hasted. And Invis is just going to increase our chance of dodging some of those attacks a little bit every time. The Black Mage is going to drink the potion for the Viking so that he can try to stay above that 300 level. The Viking's up front, even though I really need him to do damage because he can simply absorb so much more. So he's got heavy armor on. He can absorb a lot. Now there's 5 hits for 1,100, almost 1,200. So that's the kind of attack we need. The Thor hammer with the doubled hits is what we need. So Ogopogo has the Haste spell. He also has the Invis spell in his routine, so he can boost his own evasion to make it harder for us to hit him. And then he'll go on to X-Zone, which will just take out everybody who is less than 300, I believe, if that works like the XXXX in the vanilla version. Let's call it a threshold spell. So here I'm looking to see, like, what can we do? We're just going to fight again. The Cleric's spell list has not been super useful in battles here, so there's Invis 2. That's going to boost his evasion. But the health of the party is pretty good right now. And so we're doing okay keeping ourselves afloat, although, you know, one big hit can make a big difference on that. So Invis just keeps boosting and keeps getting us ready to go. And if my Black Mage, now that it looks like we're close to being able to hold off for a round. He's going to use Saber on the Vikings, so the Viking's going to do a bunch more damage per hit. It looks like it was a little less because the crits, there were either fewer crits or the crits did a little bit less. So the damage is still quite variable. But this far into the battle, we're looking very healthy. There was a number of attempts on this fight that did not go quite as well as this. And mostly because he was spreading out his attacks more and then using X Zone. And X Zone would take out multiple characters in one shot. It looks like he is either not weak to or he resists a lot of elemental magic. I was trying some spells with the Black Mage, and I was just not getting anything. So there you can see the Viking has a straight up miss. And he should have had 6 attempts at that hit, and 0 out of 6 landed. That's what that means. So the ninja is going to keep on the invis because we just have to. That can be the difference between taking another hit and not taking another hit. So the Black Mage is going to try to boost up my Viking. He'll have 2 potions to get him up over 300, but as you can see, it wasn't necessary. The Paladin was able to get that last hit on Kraken. Here we pick up the Sage Staff and the Masamune. So both of those weapons are going to be huge. Now this tile takes you to the outdoors, but through the magic of video, we're going to go back to the beginning of this floor and we're going to take out the treasures. So when I looked at what these weapons do, the Sage Staff looks like it's something like the Fear spell in that it makes the enemies run away from you the next round. So it must lower their confidence. I can't remember the name of that. I think it's morale score, I think is what it's called. Here, I'm looking to see if I correctly menued to get area of effect equipment on all my characters, and I did not quite get area of effect on all my characters. So we're actually going to see these time mages go all the way through their progression, sadly, because I just kind of messed up that part. The Masamune casts slow. As I use that one, it puts enemies into slow status. It reduces their number of hits. So that's pretty cool to use for some of those enemies. That would have been nice to use on Kraken, although something tells me Kraken would have resisted it. I did try using the Blind spell on Kraken, and that did not land. I didn't try it multiple times, so I don't know if that's something you could do. A lot of bosses in hacks like this do have things like that you can use to kind of get around some of their nastier things, but I was not able to land that. Now, Defender says Defend Effects. I believe that puts on something like Shell or Will, where it just kind of helps with some of the, it's probably Will, where it helps out with some of the status-y things. So likely, Poison will not land on my Viking next round. But you can see they're stacking up the protects. They've cast 6 protects, and each one is area of effect. So these battles also take a long time. So the Thor hammer right there, and that's when I realized I should have had area of effect on everybody. And when I realized that I didn't, I should have had my Black Mage just do a bigger spell. I should have had him do Ice 3. Because these guys will, next round, they're going to be doing Chakra. So all of the damage from the Thor hammer and the Fire Staff and the Death Sword. I'm not sure what spell this casts. I am not sure what spell this does. It's an area of effect spell that does damage. I'm not sure what element it is. I'm not sure what spell level it is. I haven't quite figured that out yet. I'm wondering if it's maybe bio or something like that. I'm not sure. That would be my guess, is that it's something like bio. That would just be on theme. So you can see these guys are pretty weak. They've taken a few hits from these. Their hit point pool is not all that big. But now, this next round, they're going to be casting Chakra. So any one of them that gets a turn before it gets hit with one of our area of effects is going to be fully healed. HP max, you can see. And there we actually have a 3 hits, 3 damage, and terminated. So that was pretty neat. Here's the Death Sword again, but of course we're starting over from a full hit point pool, and then 6 hits for 6 damage. So after this, I need to re-menu to get area of effect items on everybody. In between the recording of that, when I went back to recover my spell charges, I moved some things around to test out some things and didn't move things back. So the Comet spell is a time magic spell. I believe it's non-elemental, and they are going to throw that at their earliest opportunity. But here we go. We finally got through. Now, Bill got hit with the poison status even through the ribbons, so it's curious as to how that happened. There is, in the vanilla version of the game, that small, I think it's 2 out of 201 chance, it's something like that, I'm not sure what the exact numbers are, that you can hit things through resistance. And I've seen that happen in the vanilla version, and the TAS uses that a lot. That's how TAS can get Chaos to run away with the fear spell, is that lands fear spell on Chaos 8 times or whatever for the running away. And it does it through that resistance. So there's my 3rd ribbon. So 3 ribbons down. We all good. We in there. Here is Warmech. And I know you might be thinking Warmech is GG probably. Well, the Warmech is not quite as souped up as it is in the vanilla version. So we're actually going to take this one on. I'm trying to decide what to do with my Black Mage. I'm just going to go for some damage here. Again, it's not very impressive. The Black Mage does kind of fade a little bit as the game goes on. And in the Final Fantasy Ultra, this would be something where I would be casting the break spell on her. It's actually the soft spell, I think, does both in that game. But I've not had as much success in this version, and so I'm wondering if the author of Final Fantasy Ultra, which is Final Fantasy Ultra is a ROM hack of this ROM hack by a programmer named Robert August de Meyer. Check that out if you'd like. It's a pretty cool version of this game. It's pretty similar to the version we're playing here. This is the older version of it by a different author who goes by Pink Puff, I believe. So thankfully potions are healing 100 each, so all that damage from nuclear we can heal up and have that ready to go. So we have a little bit more exploring to do, going back to the main area. We haven't gone to the right spoke of this trail yet, so we're going to go right and up, and then we're going to explore right and down. The guard-type enemies are not so scary, but their brothers, the sentries, are super scary. The Magitechs, those are great grinding bots from Final Fantasy Ultra, as I remember. I think I had a couple characters who could cast the soft or break spell, and so I would get in battles with 4 of those in a trap square and just break them all, stone them all, and we were just piling up the experience. So there's Dragon Armor. Dragon Armor, I believe, behaves like Dragon Armor in the vanilla version, where it defends the 3 main elements of fire, ice, and lightning. Not sure about that, but it will help my Viking who does not yet have a ribbon to defend against all those elements. So far we've gotten the ribbon down there and then the dragon armor. Now these sentries, they can just about make it a party wipe, especially if they get a back attack. The sentries have a physical attack that hits you extremely hard. And I've had sentries, even in a non-back attack, just concentrate their attacks on Bill and Dan down there, the squishier characters, and just 2 hits from one of those things is going to take you out. So if you get targeted twice, unlucky, too bad. So here I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. We're going to have some fun with these specters. I'm going to demonstrate the Sage Staff. So here's the Fire Staff for my ninja. So my ninja can do some area of effect damage. The Paladin, I believe, has the Death Sword. And here's the Sage Staff. It says teleporting away. And I'm guessing that just lowers their morale. So the Excalibur is casting harm too, so it's doing nice damage to them. But on their next action, as you'll see this next round, they will flee the battle. So Excalibur, he's going to use the Fire Staff, and he's just going to try to fight because each one, as they get a turn, they're going to escape. Excalibur's not quite able to take these guys out. They will get taken out if they get hit with the Fire Staff, but here they're all escaping. Bill finishes this last one with the Fire Staff, so we only beat 1 Spectre. So you'll see in our experience printout, 162, because we only actually defeated 1 Spectre. You do not get experience for enemies that run away from you. And so we're not going to bother doing that again in this fight with these Spectres. We're just going to get out of the way. And they're not too dangerous a fight right here, so we're okay to just hang out. And the Assassin Dagger that I can't remember if it's my Black Mage or my Ninja who is using the Assassin Dagger or has that. That has another spell effect, like a status spell effect that might be Might be darkness, or it might be, I can't remember what that one is. So here is an inn. As you enter that door, there's an inn right there. Now behind that door, you can just walk around on the tiles. You can walk around on that white surface of a closed door. In Final Fantasy Ultra, there are some hidden chests behind there with some not super remarkable treasure. But in this version, I did check on another crawl through of this. There is not anything behind there. So that's a very expensive 50,000 gold inn stay, but you can recover up here if you feel like you need to. That may be a hint for the final crawl dungeon, that maybe there is going to be an inn down there in the final dungeon. Some FF1 hacks have built that in for the convenience of the player. So here's the sentries, and these are really the most dangerous enemies down here, probably even more than Warmechs. You can see, even on my armored characters, 2 hits for almost 100 damage, 2 hits for more than 100 right there, so there we go. A few concentrated hits on Cal in one round of us not running away, and that was all she wrote for poor Cal, and now Ace is almost on the mat. Luckily, the ninja has more charges of the life spell than does the cleric, or the paladin, so it just means a lot of potion drinking sounds. Hope you enjoy that, because Cal's gonna need 6 of them. But they bunched up their attacks, and that was just enough to take out even my heavily armored paladin up there. And now we're gonna explore the bottom left part. The bottom right path is what leads to Ogopogo, but we've already taken care of that and cleared that part of the dungeon out. And we're going to explore the very exciting room down here in the corner of this area. So hopefully you have been using these to guide you through this game, or just at least allow you to experience this game without going through the effort of it. We got kind of trolled here. No chests, nothing hidden, nothing there at all. But if you've enjoyed this series of videos, I would appreciate if you would let me know what you think. I always love reading comments on the bottom of these. Hit the thumbs up button if you like it. Subscribe to the channel, because this is mostly what I do. As we're going into the summer of 2019, I'm getting ready for the Forge Out Fiesta of Final Fantasy V, so we're going to be on our way to more videos like that. But in the meantime, hit me up here in the comment section or on Twitter, where I am active_ATE, and we will see you next time.